Good morning, Westeros.
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Kyle.
And we are your Morning Throners.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We are your Morning Throners, and we got the Merchant's Man on deck. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Kyle, what'd you think? Who's the Merchant's Man?
Kyle?
Well, I mean, I think we did get to this at the end of the last episode because you'd mentioned it was in the first paragraph there. But Quentin is, oh fuck, man, I forget all these guys. Doran's son.
Yes.
Yeah,
Little toad boy.
There's too many fucking names that are like all the same.
Doran's kind of easy because it's Dorn.
Dorn.
Dorn and Doran, exactly.
Okay, but that's part of what makes me think, oh no, that can't be his name, right? So it's kind of part of the problem as well. So it's as far as chapter,
You can be frank.
It's still too early for me to tell in a way because it's like I feel like it's probably going to go somewhere good, but this one I just was not. I don't know, right? Like,
This chapter sucked.
Yeah, he's like
Jeff?
a Weasley guy, and nothing really happens. I mean, I'm sure there's some stuff, and you're going to tell me that stuff happened. I know stuff happened, but
It's an
like,
average read.
yeah, just
I feel like we knew what he was doing over here, right?
yeah.
It wasn't like it was like some big shock, like, oh my god, Quentin's over here.
It wasn't ever
Yeah,
spelled out, but us talking about it kind of spelled it out for sure. I think a lot of readers probably just glance over a few of those lines in that Ariane chapter, and you're like,
Kyle knew what he was doing over here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's fair. I will say I kind of agreed with you. I've listened to this chapter recently on audiobooks. I'm trying to listen a few chapters ahead. And when I listened to it, I'm like, wow, kind of a dud. When I took notes on it, there was a lot of stuff I liked. I feel like it's kind of like, you know how George kind of like in Feast of Crows, he takes like the glory of war and then shows you like how horrible, like the aftermath, like there's dead bodies everywhere, literally
Sure.
like Feast of Crows. I feel like this chapter kind of gives you like the first lines of the chapter are adventure stank. And I feel like that's kind of the theme of this whole chapter is like Quentin and his friends, there's a part we're talking about like the day they left, they're like, we're going to do so much. This is going to be great. We're going to tell stories to our grandchildren. But like, we hear how this has gone so far and it's been shit.
Half of them are dead.
Half of them are dead. Like they're stuck in the city.
Not lined up for what they thought it was going to be.
Exactly. So I feel like this is a little bit of a George like trope subversion. Like we're on this epic quest. It's going to be great. Like Lord of the Rings story time, like but no, it's like horrible, tragic. Nothing's gone right. The other cool thing I think about this chapter is we just heard in the last chapter, Tyrion. What's he trying to do right now?
He's trying to get to Volantis as well.
Exactly. But when we looked at that map, he's not that close, right? Like unless Tyrion has a big time jump, he's not going to be in Volantis for a little bit.
And they're not traveling very fast.
So exactly. So it's cool that the very next chapter we get Quentin. He's here. He's in Volantis, boots on the ground, right? So I think that's another kind of cool.
And he can't get out of there.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's stuck. One of the questions I had was, Adventure is the name of the boat, though, right?
Yes,
like,
correct.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from, but okay.
Yeah.
It's a Nelson's going metaphor, but the actual
Yeah,
boat.
for sure. I mean, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean,
think.
I don't know. This chapter's just not that.
I think he still
Not
has
all
a
that in
point.
a bag.
That's all I'm
Just-
saying.
I think Quentin as a person is not the most interesting character, but I do like Garrus. He's kind of funny and cool so far. And Arch, we didn't get very much of him at all. He's only on page for like half a page.
Is that the big man or whatever?
the big man? But he seems,
A big man.
yeah. I don't know. The two others he's with seem
Which is
cooler.
funny that his you find out. I forgot all about who Big Man is, but like his own family member gave him
Cousin called him that. Yeah.
you can't call him his name. Like you've known him probably your whole life, but I don't know. The chapter just wasn't doing it for me. But it's the first one. Like I get it. It's the first one. We meet Quentin. We get his perspective of like, oh, I'm going to like his dream of now marrying Dany and like his self-consciousness right about it, or like, am I good enough? Like I never, I'm not. He's kind of the toad, right? That's hoping to kiss the princess is like how I'll play it.
Sorry, Kyle, what were you going to say?
The hopes of Dorne in Westeros really, right? Like he's got a huge burden on himself
Big
right
pressure.
now, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So like he's definitely feeling that.
Yeah, and I think what George has said before is like the characters he himself relates the most to are Sam and Quentin. So like, and I think you can kind of see that, right? It's like the insecurity, like not confident with women, like that whole, like I relate to Quentin myself a little bit too in some of those aspects, but
No, so you're such a player.
I think when we get early on, well, we can get into it. Early on, we get some of the descriptions of these guys. Like Garrus is just like a good looking guy, and Quentin, not so much, right? Like, so just like in every aspect, he's kind of just like bland. It's kind of how I see it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, Doran's son.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So
you jump in it. All right. So Quinn and Garrus Drinkwater are waiting on top of a smelly ship called Adventure.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think. Did you have a hint of why they're smelly? Like,
I think by the end you can get some conclusions. Garrus kind of says something towards the end where he's like, they're talking about like what would have happened. He's like, he's just going to take us out to sea and kill us. And Quentin or Garrus, I think, says that, or chain us up with all those other wretches down below deck. So it seems like he has slaves.
I would say it seemed like slaves,
like a slaver ship that's just guys oaring down below and
starving, oaring, shitting on themselves. Exactly. Like probably not great conditions. Yeah.
And we find out that they're playing roles themselves, right? They're hiding their true identities, and this was a plan from the start. Doran told them, like, you know, like, have to be completely secret, like, why you're here, like, can't get back to Westeros.
I also thought, like, at least by the time that got to the end of the chapter, I'm like, this is interesting, right? Especially if you think about Quentin, and we had a POV from his sister, Arianne. First off, two people couldn't really be much different. Yeah. She is like so bold and rash and sexy, and he is so dull and like kind of like Doran, pretentious, like cautious and stuff. But they both have similar plots, right? Her Feast of Crowspaw is like, let's get together with like, what was it, 6 friends?
Let's overthrow the government.
Well, 6 friends and try and raise a queen. And what's Quentin doing? He's got together with 6 friends and he's trying to secretly go raise a queen, right? Again, there's big differences there, but it is kind of interesting how they're just getting together with friends. And what made me wonder about this is when Arianne got found out, what was the thing, kind of like how Jamie always thinks about Cersei's fucking Lancel and Osmond. Like, Someone told. Someone always tells. Exactly. That was what stuck in Arianne's head. And where'd she get that?
Arya
Hotah told her that Doran told him that. So Doran says, if you have 6 people, someone's going to tell in this party.
Yeah.
And then he sends Quentin off with 6 people. Like,
yeah.
I think the difference is that theirs was much more covert in terms of, like, she was trying to subvert everybody's, like, whereas Doran's backing this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It wasn't Doran's plan to send Arianne off, where this is like, and if you do have a spy in this group of 6, maybe it's a spy for Doran. Like, all right, like, feed me in on what's going on over there.
I guess what I'm implying is all you need is one of these people to tell something to Varys, right? She said, like, I think Quentin implies the reason it's so secret because Varys has spies even in Sunspear. It's like, okay, well, why couldn't he in Ironwood, where most of these people came from, right? So I don't know. I just thought it was like, when you actually think about it, it's an interesting parallel between Quentin and Arianne, and why does what Doran says about that not hold here? So I don't have an answer. I just kind of was thinking about it.
Half of them are dead, so don't worry. Don't worry, it's not 6 anymore.
Yeah,
but
hopefully one of those 3 was the one that was going to tell. Yeah,
good odds. Good odds.
Yeah. So we learn a little bit about who they're trying to pretend to be, right? They started as wine sellers.
They both. It's still the same. They just switched roles.
Okay. So they're still wine selling merchants, but like who is different.
Quentin was in charge, but then they're like, this guy's a nobody. Is like kind of what happened, right?
Yeah.
Like they've got found out.
Yeah, he said that he wasn't like up to the mummery. The mummery didn't sit well with him, so it just seems like he's not a very good at being deceptive and lying. So he'll be the servant, so he doesn't have to do all the talking. Is kind of how I took that.
That makes sense.
It's just like let Garrus is more charismatic. Let him be the one.
Go get the barrel.
Yeah, exactly. Just sit there.
I'll do the talking.
Exactly. If there's something that needs like a princely you to make a decision, Garrus can always like let me confer with my servant. So get like Quentin's there if we need, but for the most part, let's have Garrus be the mouthpiece. Is how I take it.
Yep.
And we also found out that this was like the first part of like, this shit hasn't gone that well. Cletus Ironwood was slain. And we're like, oh shit, like, how was he slain? Like, and I didn't really remember that part. I'm sure that was a mystery to Kyle until they talk about it, right? But like,
part of the problem is like, I don't even know who that is, right? So that's like,
it's just a name.
Care.
It's a name and he's dead, right? But someone in their party was slain. It wasn't like he fell sick, like, and died. Yeah. Like, his head was cut off type of shit.
Yeah.
The history of like how they ended up here is one of those things that I think it's cool on a first read where George kind of spoon feeds it to you piece by piece throughout the chapter. But again, it kind of makes it tricky for the podcast. So why don't we just talk about basically what the history was, what happened? So they left from Sunspear. I guess I'm not sure. At some point, Doran called Quentin from Ironwood, where he had been being fostered, to the Water Gardens. Doran and Quentin have this like, okay, here's the deal. Here's what you're going to do. And then it seems like the 6 people, somehow they meet up near Planky Town, right? That's where Quentin, Garrus, Archibald, the big man, Cletus, Will, and Maester Kedry all meet up. they leave from Planky Town, stop in at Lys. Arch, the big man, is not good on the boat, so he was seasick for a while, and it took like 4 days to recover in Lys before we continued on.
That's rough, man. That's what I would be like on a ship.
Yeah.
I just
be ruined the whole time.
I don't know if I'd ever get used to it.
My understanding, again, if you look at the map and you kind of piece together, they said they took port at Lys, and then they got attacked by corsairs, which is just pirates, right? Corsairs just means pirates.
Yeah, fancy name.
Yeah. When they were anchored off the disputed lands. So, but this must be after they retook the boat because Arch, like they're all on the boat, I think. So, I think basically they stopped in at Lys, took a few days, went back off, and then at one night they're anchored offshore, waiting for daytime or something to go the next day, and they get attacked. In the attack, 12 people on the ship die, 3 of which were from Quentin's crew. Who were the ones that died? Cletus,
yeah,
and Maester Kedry. Yep, I forget Will's last name, but
I think I put it down. Will
I do, but not in this part of my notes. Yeah,
Willem.
It was Will something. Will Wells. Willem Wells.
Yeah, Willem Wells.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those 3 didn't make it. They said some words. This again, it's kind of interesting too, because like this was Quentin's best friend, and again, time has passed, so it's not like a fresh wound. But it's kind of interesting that like George didn't give us like more of like a in the boots flashback. You know what I mean? Like he's thinking about it, but like almost like have a dream about it. Where
maybe I don't know. Was he fighting? Like we don't even know. You would assume Quentin was fighting a bit, right? Like you hope so.
At that point, everybody should be
hiding in the brig.
Yeah,
but I don't know, maybe he didn't see what happened.
But yeah, so his best friend died. 2 of his friends died. One of them was his best friend, and then the Maester. And he's like, right now, the Maester is the biggest problem, right?
Biggest loss.
He knew a lot, straight up.
Yeah, he was our ticket to all this. Yeah.
We get a little bit more of that later, right?
That gets spoon fed throughout the chapter. I was trying to get most of it out now, so we can skim over it when it pops up.
All right. You mentioned this too, Garrus, pretty pleasant looking guy.
Yeah. Do you have
pretty good tongue as well? You need a description?
Yeah. Do you have the description? I don't have all the quotes here.
Tall and fair, with blue-green eyes, sandy hair streaked by the sun, and a lean and comely body. Garrus Drinkwater had a swagger to him, confidence bordering on arrogance. He never seemed ill at ease, and even when he did not speak the language, he had ways of making himself understood. Quentin cut a poor figure by comparison, short-legged and stocky, thickly built, with hair the brown of new-turned earth. His forehead was too high, his jaw too square, his nose too broad. A good, honest face, a girl had caught at once. But you should smile more.
I just don't see, like, has a jaw ever been really too square? I feel like that's like one of the better features of a guy.
Right, could have
like unless you're like a straight box head, but like I don't know, square jaw always seemed to be like a good thing to have.
I don't know. There. I feel like he could have a box head.
I showed Jeff this before. This isn't my most favorite artwork we've ever gotten, but when he gave it to me and I was like, no, this isn't right. And then I read the description, I was like, well, I guess it is right.
Yes, it is.
It looked a little too feminine at first. I did have him be like, yo, you need to make sure that kind of clear that this is a man. I still don't think that it's super clear, but it's good enough.
I think maybe the hair throws it off now. Like, there was nothing, it was just brown hair, right? It didn't say like how long it was.
Like a mop of brown hair or something, I think.
Thickly built with hair the brown of new-turned earth.
Yeah, I guess
that's all it really said.
Yeah, it doesn't say the style.
With a high forehead. I don't know, maybe you could have given him like a fade. And
yeah, I could ask for a different hairstyle, but I think it's close enough. Like it's accurate, right?
Who cares? Yeah.
So,
it's just hair.
It wasn't bad enough that I said redo it, but
yeah, maybe the way he's standing too. Like, get a little separation in the legs. He's got like his knees rubbing together.
I think it's pretty Quentin though. Like the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? It fits. Yeah, like he's not a good looking guy. It's kind of part of it. Yeah. So
nope. All right. So the captain comes out and Garrus is like, all right, like, hey, we're trying to go to Marine. Can you take us there? And Captain's like, what? There's nothing there. What are you going to Marine for? Like, ever since the Dragon Queens took over, like, nobody's trading with Marine. So
yeah, and there's not even fighting pits.
That's a death wish.
Like, there's not even fighting pits. Like, even if we show up and we can't sell slaves, like, we can't. What are we going to do to entertain ourselves?
No amusement.
Yeah. So
Quentin thinks to himself during this time, like, oh my gosh, Danny's there. Like, I'm going to marry her.
Well, yeah, because he's like, why? And Quentin's thinking, well, I got to marry her, right? The most beautiful woman.
The most beautiful woman in the world.
Yep.
Who, Cersei?
Most beautiful woman in the world. Yeah, Cersei, yeah.
Yep. And he had to tell himself, like, he's like, she's not going to want me. Well, like, how am I going to win this? And then he just keeps telling himself, it comes up a few times, he's like, I'm Dorn. If she wants Dorn, she needs me, Dorn. Kyle, we talked about this a little bit, and I think one of the past chapters, Dany, in her last chapter, she's she doesn't seem like hard set on it, but she's considering flirting with the idea of marrying a Miranese person to like kind of help settle the deal in Marine. We also know Victarion. I think you said before you don't have a ton of confidence in Victarion's quest to come and woo Dany, but we do have Victarion, Quentin, and Dany are in this like weird.
I'll just say this too, like
she's in high demand.
Dany marrying a Miranese is just like a short-term fix. Like once you leave Marine, you're not coming back probably, Dany, right? Like you're not trying to rule all the way over here and all of Westeros. Like sure, like it might get it under control, but then you're leaving. So like what's the real point of that? Like
what's the long term?
I think it's a great question because even Dany, who has basically made up her mind, I'm not just going to keep moving on from these cities and leaving them to ruin. I need to learn how to be a queen. It's not her end game. You're right. Like she doesn't plan on dying in Marine. So, okay, how long? 20 years? 30 years? Like how long?
Yeah.
We as book readers hope it's way shorter than that, right? So like, yeah, maybe this
gets stuck. Yeah.
I'm just saying I would really like to know what Dany's like 5-year plan is. Like, do you see yourself in Marine in 5 years?
Does she have one?
How about 5-month plan? This is what I would do if I was Dany. I would try to learn as many people that you can trust that want to change, like, I don't know, whatever the bald guys are now. But like
the shave pates.
No, not them. The shave pates. Like actual Marine people that want to see it differently. And then you just try to get like a government sub and then you get the fuck out of there. And guess what? If it goes back, I don't know. Like you got enough people saved. Like get out of there.
I see what you're saying. You're saying spend a little more effort than you did in Astapor, but that's pretty much what she did in Astapor. Yeah. She took a council of people, former slaves, educated former slaves, made them in charge, and within like 2 weeks, the old slaves were the new masters.
Well, I'm not saying leave right away. Like I'm saying like maybe govern over that government for a bit, and then I don't know, big brother them a bit before you head out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want her staying there. So like that's my whole point. I want her to be like Illyrio thinks, and that she's on the road west already. But we know that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say she's also potentially got access to the fastest form of travel in the whole universe in the future, so maybe she could come back.
But what, for up to 3 people?
Yeah, but she could come back. Yeah, but
all right. She flies back on a dragon and blows some fire and says, "Hey, keep your shit in line," and then flies home.
Yeah.
One of her big things right now is she needs ships because she has so many people that's like her problem. She couldn't. Well,
for now, I meant after she could leave and come back is what I meant, Nelson. I didn't. Mean.
Oh yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, she could be like a half timer.
I just don't see why she would truly care. Like, why do you care?
I think that's the show attitude of you sneaking in. The reason she cares is because there's hundreds of thousands of people that live here, and she can make their lives better.
But there's hundreds of thousands of people across the whole world. She's not gonna.
She doesn't know.
She's not driving her caravan or a dragon to Bravos next and freeing the people of Bravos. Like she doesn't care. She doesn't have this greater world truly care, right? She just cares where her feet are, and her feet right now are in Marine. And I guess where her feet have been, I guess, a little bit, because she kind of cares about Yunkai and Astapor. But, like, it's not like this greater world view of, like, I'm freeing every single slave ever had. Like, it's not her point.
It's a good point. We could go down a rabbit hole on this, because, like, that's the mentality of most people, right? Most people don't like slavery, but there's slavery in the world today, and I'm not getting up and taking a plane to, you know what I mean? I agree with you. We don't want to linger on this point, but yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
You should.
I think it's a very interesting thing, right? Like, what Jeff points out a really good point, right? People talk about Dany as if she's the hero, but she doesn't. She's not trying to save, like, she's not trying to end slavery flat out. She's looking at what's in front of her, and it just so happened to be at the time slavery was in front of her, and she's like, "This fucking sucks." If she never would have gone to Astapor, like the only reason she went to Astapor anyways, because Jorah told her she could get unsullied there.
Then she continued on and did it a few more times because of the slaves.
That's true, but do you really think she's going to continue on? Like, is she going to go to Volantis and free Volantis? And
like, at some point, is she going to skip a city that has slaves and be like, whatever?
I don't know yet. I mean, that seems to be her current trajectory is just doing this in every city. And yeah, Volantis. We talked about that. There's 5 slaves or whatever to every person. Like
5 to 1, yeah.
It seems like yes. That to me, that would be my assumption as to what happened when she shows up. Is she's not going to come in friendly like.
Okay. Well, and we even learn in this chapter, Yunkai, who is the one who's like actively trying to fight Dany, where did they go to look for people to help them fight? They're here in Volantis.
Yeah.
And Illyrio also said, like, hey, you're going to meet her there just in case her plans have changed, right? So maybe she does want to put on a crusade. But
well, I think Tyrion even thought in that chapter, like, wait, we're going to meet Dany, the slave freer, in the city with 5 slaves for every person? Yeah. Like, I don't think he said it, but he was thinking that.
Well, no, he did say that. He's like, why would they want to help her? Like, why would they be helping her? Because that's what they're all about.
And I think, to be fair, right, to Jeff's point, I think a very good reason Volantis would want to help her is be like, if we just get Dany back to fucking Westeros,
out of here,
like everything goes back to normal. Slaves are back in Slaver's Bay.
You saw what she did to those other places.
Like, not even like it'll save us. Like, I'm sure Volantis's trade currently is impacted by what Dany's doing, right? How can they get that back to normal? Let's fucking help Dany take the throne, right? And then we can get our slaves, like. And at that point, it's out of sight, out of mind for Dany, which is, again, not saying Dany's a bad person. I think that's just how it works for most people in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like,
once she gets to Westeros and say she wins and has the throne, she's got a whole myriad of problems there that she needs to focus on, not 9 cities that she's freed that are not even close. Like, sure, she can get there, but it's not like she can get there with a force fast enough to fix it. All right, moving on.
Well, I think it's interesting because George is going to have to cross this bridge at some point. If Dany comes back to Westeros, she's going to have to figure out, what am I doing? Am I just abandoning this slave thing?
Pull out.
I think, like, if Dany has, like, an arc shift, like, that might be the answer. And that might be part of how he shows us, like, Dany's, like, you know what I mean? But we'll see.
All right, well, here's what she does then. She takes over the Doom, and she rebuilds, and she never goes west. She just makes a new kingdom in
New Valyria. Not
New
Old Valyria, New Valyria.
New Valyria.
I like that.
There we go. All right, so they tell the captain, like, hey, we're here to sell wine, blah, blah, blah. We got that good Dorne shit. You guys will want it. And he's like, okay. And then he also tells them that all the sellswords are getting, like, recruited to head to the slave city. So, like, it's dangerous out there.
Yeah.
Not where you really want to be.
Active war zone, yep.
So many ships here in Volantis.
Volantis is just massive itself, right? The one thing that he says is the Volunteers were fond of boasting that the 100 Isles of Bravos could all be dropped into their deep harbor and drowned, meaning that their harbor, right? So it's the mouth of the river. There's a city. Tyrion says at one point there's a city on each side. He mentions the Long Bridge, which is what connects these 2 cities. It's like, again, I've been to New Orleans, but I don't think I actually saw the part where, like, the Mississippi comes through. Like, how far apart are the 2 halves of New Orleans that the Mississippi comes through?
I'm pretty sure I did a boat cruise on the Mississippi, and, like, it's not, like, huge. Like, you can see across.
You've been to Harrisburg, boy.
But that's only 1 mile, right? The Susquehanna is like 1 mile across at Harrisburg.
It's pretty big.
That's pretty big.
River.
And Harrisburg is city on one side, suburb on the other. This is, like, massive city on both sides, and it seems very far. Like, I think way bigger than the Susquehanna would be, which is what Kyle's referring to in Harrisburg. Which is, again, it is a bit. Susquehanna is
big river.
Yeah.
God
Wide
damn,
river.
The
Yeah.
widest part is 11 miles.
Of what? Susquehanna?
Mississippi.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly. I think Mississippi's closer to the Rhine.
Oh wait. Well, it's a lake. That's kind of cheating.
Yeah,
at
cheating.
Lake Winnebagoshish.
Yeah, I think that's a little cheating.
Here, I'll give you in New Orleans, about a half mile.
Yeah, so it narrows a little bit by the time it gets there. So,
yeah, I was gonna say, like, the river I was on wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I was on that. And I didn't get. I guess you wouldn't get. Do you get river sick? Like, that's not a thing.
if you're on a rocking boat,
I mean, it's still a boat.
I just need to be on that size ship then. It was like a big
it
dinner.
was working. Yeah,
Like a
bigger
like a-
ships.
Well, yeah,
rock
the bigger
less.
they
You
get.
know those
yeah,
big boats that
Yeah.
like multiple floors.
Was it a steamboat?
Like a casino boat type of thing.
Like a steamboat?
Yeah.
Was it like Fever Dreams or was that?
Well, exactly, because a lot of people say that Fever Dream gives, like, this chapter gives big Fever Dream vibes, which again is maybe why I like it, because Fever Dream takes place in New Orleans during slavery, right? It's so Fever Dream, for people who don't know, is another book that George R. R. Martin wrote. It's one of my favorites. Again, if I give you the one-line sales pitch, it sounds crazy, and it's never sold anybody with the one-line sales pitch. I really had to twist their arm to get people to read it, but everyone I've got to read it loved it, so give it a chance. But the one-line sales pitch is it's steamboats on the Mississippi River with vampires during Civil War times.
Basically Sinners. That's how you should sell
I've never seen Sinners, but yeah, if that's what that's about. But it's really good. Yeah.
It's not really what it's about, but vampires, people like.
Yeah.
People always eat that shit up. All right. Yeah, so there's just a ton of ships there that, like, we'll easily find passage on. Like, we got here, kind of been okay, but, like, we'll find
too
a
many
ship.
boats. Yeah.
And there's just not. Everyone's turning them down. They've been here for 20 days now, and no.
We're asking them to go like the worst place on the continent.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't actually understand this. Like, I was like, would it really be that hard to find a boat there? But I guess it's literally like right now being like, hey, I want to get a boat to Iran. Like, people are just gonna be like, what the fuck? No.
Like through that strait. What's that strait called? Where all the oil's trying to go through?
Hormuz.
It'd be like trying to get a little skiff through there. Like, I'm sure that's not happening.
Yeah, like if I'm in like Greece and like, hey, can I get a boat? Like, no one is taking me through there from just like a charter boat in like the docks of Greece. Like, that makes sense to me. Like, okay, I think that's kind of comparable here, right? With the first time I read this chapter, I'm like, would it really? Like, you would find somebody. No, you wouldn't. Like, it's crazy time.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking like, get us close enough, and then we'll like rowboat in. Like at the least, like give us a rowboat in type of thing.
There's a part where someone mentions New Gis. I don't think that's a horrible idea.
The problem, Jeff, is that I mean, maybe I might misremembering the map, but you have to go past Yunkai and Astapor to get there. So like, it's like deep in there, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
Maybe they can not yell. Maybe they can lie about their shit and be like, "Hey, no, we're actually, we're not here for."
Yeah, but it's like it's not like you can just like, oh, we're just gonna sneak in on this rowboat. It's like, oh, you got to go past the two.
If they hug the left side of the bay, they have a chance.
Yeah, but who knows what's under the water there?
Well, so New Gis, if you guys are looking on the map, it's actually not on the map I sent you. I'll make sure it's on the map I have in the podcast. New Gis is, if you guys see on the map that I sent you, on where Old Gis is. It's like kind of to the southeast of that a little bit. It's an island off the shore.
Yeah, but couldn't they just hug the left side of everything though? Like hug the left of the lands of the summer up past Illyria, Tolos, Barash, and then get to Marine. Like instead of going up the east coast, go up the west coast.
You could, but again, I don't think anyone's just going to take you that. They did have an option. There was a ship going to New Gis. I think their best bet is New Gis, and then just somehow get to the mainland and go overland from there. But
still very far.
I guess you're right. That overland trip's almost as far as it is from where they are now.
There's a bunch of mountains there on this
map.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. That doesn't actually help at all. Never mind. Wrong.
And they thought about buying their own ship, but they were like, Varys will find out. He's got whispers over here. Like they're gonna know that we bought something.
It's too flashy.
Well, that's if they would have bought something before they even left Dorne. If they would have bought their own ship there, but they like we couldn't have done. I think that's what they're saying. We couldn't have done that.
Oh, I was saying even here.
I think they do consider buying a ship now, and they're like, we can't do that. Dornish aren't good sailors, which is fine if like you three aren't good sailors, but like, and you guys probably don't know that there are three kind of like different groups of Dornishmen, kind of like based on like what they do.
I think we've talked about that when we first introduced because there's Mountain Dorne, right? There's Desert Dorne, and then there's the people on the
Sandy, Salty, and Stony. So Stony's mountain, Sandy's desert, and Salty, I think, is mainly the people who live along the Green Blood, right? There's a bunch of Dornish who live along this bit. It's not even a big river. It's a minuscule river in Dorne. And again, they're the orphans of the Green Blood because they used to live along this massive river, the Royne, but this is the only river they have now. That's mostly the Salty. So again, it seems more river people than ocean people, but there's got to be some.
Yeah.
Well, what is Salty? Salty wouldn't be a river necessarily.
And that's what I'm saying too. Is like if you're saying salty, you got to be at least near the mouth.
You're implying ocean.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's be real. Yeah.
So they can't all be horrible, but yeah, these three are. So yeah. So Quentin had been thinking back about some stuff there. Now we're back into this conversation with the adventure captain. Basically, he's like, okay. Garrus tells him, yeah, we've been rejected a lot, but we were told you're bolder than most. And he's like, yeah, I am. Okay. What's the price? Because I'll do it bold, but I need a lot of money. And they're like, triple. He's like, deal. See you here an hour before dawn tomorrow.
For each of you. Really 9 times, right? 9 times that price?
No, that's such a stupid. That was the stupidest comment ever. Like, yeah, like if me, you, and Kyle were going to go book passage somewhere and we're like, hey, we're paying triple. Like, does that imply I'm paying triple and you guys are coming up? Like, no, obviously that means we're all paying triple. Like, that's implied, I think, we're paying. Unless
it's like 200 for passage and now it's 200 for each of you. And actually now I'm going to make it 600 for each of you. That would be much bigger.
Okay.
Right. Like if he was just like, all right, fine. 3 of you, $200. But now it's like actually 200 for each. So 600, but actually triple that. So give me 1,800.
I see.
Right?
I see. Yeah. That could work. Yep. That makes sense. It does.
That's the only way it actually makes it kind of makes sense.
It's possible. Yep. But yeah, basically they leave right away. He's like, yeah, deal. See you an hour before dawn.
Yep. Everything about this place, including the captain, was super sweet. Like he was sweet. Every taste is sweet. Sweet place. It's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
But it's not, right? Like he's obviously being ironical with
Ironical.
Whatever.
Ironic.
And isn't it ironical?
I think ironical is a word.
Radical, bruh.
I've heard it somewhere. It might have been in a comedy movie of an idiot saying ironic wrong, but
I don't know, man. That's a new one.
No, it's in Good Will Hunting. When
It looks like ironical is a definite
in Good Will Hunting, the one guy says to the other guy, "We'll go to we'll go to our class reunion and I'll buy you a drink." And the other guy's like, "I think the drinks at those things are free." And he's like, "I was being ironical."
Yeah, it's an adjective.
Big Brain Nelson.
Just watched that movie too many times.
I love that movie.
Okay.
Give a little bit of the final line.
Son of a bitch, he stole my line.
I meant the Boston the game speech, but
gotta go see about a girl. I don't know Pudge was gonna get a home run.
All right, moving on. And he's like, yo, this captain's probably gonna kill us or keep us hostage. Right? This ain't gonna go well.
Exactly.
Going on the adventure is not a good plan.
Yep.
Yeah, this dude just like he completely switched his script immediately. Like he knows we have money. He doesn't care about us.
Yeah.
Like he's obviously doesn't care about human life. They've already decided that he's full of slaves, right? So, like, why trust this guy?
Yep.
It's a good point.
What's crazy to me is I think that my reading was Garrison, Quentin pretty much agreed right here. Yeah, this is a no-go. This is a horrible deal. But when they get back to the merchant's house later, Quentin's like, okay, like, yeah, it's not going to, like, he's going to kill us, but whatever. It's our only option at this point, so we're doing it. Quentin's, like, going to do it until Garrus at the end says, I have a different idea, and wean talk about what his idea might be.
I mean, it's either shit or get off the can, right? Like, they can't just not do anything. It's time.
Yeah, I just thought I was like, what? That's crazy. It's literally crazy.
Yeah, jump right into the lion's mouth.
But so they get in an Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, Hathaway.
And it's basically a litter, right? That's being pulled by an elephant.
Yeah,
and
a dwarf elephant, so not a full elephant.
Yeah.
It's just, rickshaw elephant.
So a couple more facts. We've already hit them on 5-to-1 slave ratio. The slaves all have face tats, right? And it kind of separates them into a little bit, right? A mark.
It doesn't say this yet, but yeah, that's kind of this. That's some of the, we learned at some point that is part of the lore. A little bit of spoiler. I don't think
the one driving the elephant has a steering wheel.
Has a wheel, yep. But I think it's interesting because if
I mean, it's right.
I want to talk about. Do they say that it's based on their like role?
I don't
Kyle?
think so. I
didn't think so.
I mean, I kind of figured it out, right? Like it seemed like it.
Well, I wanted to bring it up anyway because I wanted to talk about it because I think some of them are interesting. A mask of blue feathers, a lightning bolt from jaw to brow, a coin on the cheek, leopard spots, a skull, a jug. What?
The lightning bolt's kind of sick, if we're being honest.
I mean, they all could be sick depending on how they're done. But like, what coin on the cheek? I guess you're like some type of accountant, like you're just good with money, or math.
I'm not going to pretend to guess. I don't.
But mask of blue feather, like what was the lightning bolt? Like what's that guy's job? Like they don't know about electricity. Like
servant of Zeus. What do you mean?
Yeah, maybe it's like a religious thing.
I don't know. That's why I'm joking because I have no clue.
But like a skull, I could see you're like a grave digger, and a jug, you're like a bartender or like a waitress or something like that, right? So, but I don't know. Some of them I was like, what the fuck job is that? Because I knew what Jeff was saying that
a leopard spots.
Leopard spots. What the fuck are you doing exactly? So. I don't know. I thought it was interesting, and I hope we learn later, and I just don't remember, but we'll see. So
they might not be as directly related as like the guy with the goddamn wheel on his face. It's like, yes, I drive this cart, right? Like
I think one we hear at some point is the guy who picks up shit, like the slaves who just walk around and pick up like the elephant shit. I think we at one point
just a shovel on his face.
I think it's like a fly or something. I forget. So like they're
Makes
not
sense.
like. They're not all like. I don't think if we if we heard somebody had a fly, I don't think our first guess would be that guy picks up shit. You know what I mean? But
nah,
so that's what I'm wondering is like what some of these could mean, and I might be wrong about that, but
yeah. Kadri was given a bunch of information on Volantis and just all the free cities. Right, he even had books for him to read.
He someone says he was like basically the most knowledgeable person on the free cities in Westeros. He spoke every language.
I think Doran did Doran pick him just because of that, or and then told him like keep learning, or like whatever. However, like this guy's studies was the free cities.
At the very least, he was training him like, hey, you need to be very versed in this from years ago. Yes, this was this guy's calling essentially, and he's dead.
That's a good point. Like this mission Quentin's on, like this pact was made years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're saying, Doran, at least when that pact was made, he was like, hey, at some point we're sending someone to Essos, so
we need you.
Start studying the free cities. I don't know where we're going to need you, but we're going to need you somewhere. So study that, all that shit. That makes a ton of sense. I didn't think about that.
And I think the biggest thing was the language barrier. Like he could speak every language and could do it well, right? Where they're just kind of faking it right now. But yeah, so he was the biggest loss Quinn thought about. Cletus and William, obviously friends that died. other options that they had, none of them really looked good, right? One of them is like the big man who we've mentioned a couple times didn't do well on the ship. So like getting back on the ship, he's definitely not in favor of that plan. Yep. The other option is to go by land, which the big man has brought to the table, which is a dragon road, which we were just on. Beautiful road, nice and smooth, right? But this one, not nice.
The demon road. Yeah. And they don't tell us why at all, which is...
Well, they kind of do. They say there's people hiding on it, waiting to rob you, I thought.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. It seems a little more than just like... At least to me, it seems a little more mysterious and like mystic, more ominous. Than like later on. Again, I'm sure he was like being ironical, but I think Art says something like Garrus with his sword and me with my hammer. What demon could stomach that, or something like that? So he does say like demon. Yeah, he's
could be pirates, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. So one point in here, I think at this part that you're going through, Jeff, they're talking about when his friends died and stuff. This is when I think just the quotes are cool because when you look at like how things have ended up now, Quentin thinks back to what the journey. He thinks that wasn't how they were supposed to end. Like that's not how they weren't supposed to die. Their end what did they do? They ended up putting all the dead bodies from the ship in sacks with rocks, basically, and
sink them.
That was their funeral. And he's like that wasn't supposed to be how they ended. And then he thinks about a convo that they had on the day they set out. Cletus had said, "This will be a tale to tell our grandchildren." Will had said, "A tale to tell tavern wenches you mean, in hopes they'll lift their skirts." And Cletus said, "For grandchildren, you need children. For children, you need to lift some skirts." And then later they toasted to Quentin's bride, made ribald japes about his wedding night to come, and talked about all the things they'd seen, the deeds they'd do, the glory they would win. All they won was sailcloth sack filled with ballast stones. So I think that's just like I think Quentin's having like a Sansa moment.
The reality. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this was a story. We were going to be Dunk. We were going to go and save the day and be the hero. But no, like that's not, life isn't a story. I think Littlefinger tells Sansa at one point, like that's not how this fucking shit goes. So I don't know. I like that moment. I think it's a very George R. R. Martin, like wake up call, like wake up.
We're going to be heroes and they didn't get to do much on this trip, right? Like,
yeah, kind of a little bit like with the broken man speech with Maribald. Like, me and all my brothers were going to go off to war. We're going to be great. And then in a month, I looked around and all my brothers were dead. And I didn't know who I was fighting for. And the Lord had traded me to another Lord. And I didn't know what the fuck. Like, I'm just up to my neck in blood. I don't know where I am. Like, Quentin's halfway there right now, basically. Like, lost half his friends. So, I don't know. I like this the theme symbolism part of this chapter, I guess.
Yeah. And then, other than taking the demon road, Quinn's just thinking, like, I can't fail. Like, this is the history. The future of Dorne is resting on my shoulders right now of getting this deal done. Like, it'd be catastrophic. If we lose, right? But if I can't make this deal done, Dorne's just screwed out of it.
Yeah. At one point, he mentions, like, there's no option. What are we going to do? We have toyed with going back to Dorne, but I can't do that. Like, I wouldn't be able to take the disappointment of my father or the scorn of the sand snakes. Like, it's do or die. It's marry Dany or die trying.
Do or do not.
Letting way too many people down, yeah.
Yeah. But it shows that he's serious about this. Like, it's not going well, but he's not, turning back is not an option for Quentin. Even though it's an option for Garrus. So yeah, we're back. We're riding on this. Again, there's weird times where Quentin just thinks back about like random stuff. But I think now we're back onto riding through the city, right?
The wharves? Is that what it was called?
Wharves. I think it just means like docks.
Yeah, riding through the wharves. Get to see a bunch of shit. We see the markets. We see the temple. A lot of other shit. The pleasure houses we pass. And
temples side by side with pleasure houses. Yeah.
Yeah. In one fell swoop. You just hit it all.
Yeah.
A little bit of talk, or at least a thought about what a whore's love costs.
Yeah.
And they were just talking about.
Well, he thinks about, is this where he starts talking about women?
Yeah, he goes into like how he never did well with pretty women.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. He's just like, how much does a whore's love cost? I've never been good with women. I had Yanis Ironwood. She was older, right? Older sister.
Yanis?
Yanis is what I would say. Yanis.
I had Enos, but I don't know.
Yanis was what I said.
Yins.
It's definitely not Yins.
Yinus?
Yanis.
What do you guys say?
Yanis would be.
If Ironwood.
Enis.
Ines?
Ines.
I have no idea.
I actually thought it was. I was reading it Uranwood before you called it Ironwood. So I'm gonna need George to comment on.
George has said pronounce it however you want.
I gave you guys my Hermione pronunciation.
Hermione.
I was all Hermione Granger before the movies came out. And then after she went off, got married, and had a couple kids, there were 2 Drinkwater twins.
Yep.
Garrus's family, cousins.
Good question. I think it's his sisters. Yeah, I think I should look this up. But I think it's his sisters.
Isn't he like kissing on them?
He kisses one of them.
Well,
but he doesn't know which one.
Quentin kisses one of them. Isn't Garrus like, yeah, let's keep kissing them?
No, I think that's Cletus.
Yeah, Cletus. Okay, yeah. All right. That makes it.
Yeah, sisters of Garrus.
Yeah, they were trying to, but Cletus wanted to stop Quentin. Was like, I have a couple reasons why I shouldn't.
Well, hang on though. This is after Enos had come the Drinkwater twins. Isn't that Cletus's? Or is that Garrus? Garrus Drinkwater. Cletus Ironwood.
Well, Cletus and Archibald, who's the big man, are both Ironwoods, but they're cousins.
Yeah.
And Enos was an Ironwood as well.
Yes, sister to Cletus. Yeah. And then there's another younger sister who's also sister to Cletus that we talk about in a minute. But for the Drinkwater twins, yes, he kissed one of them, but he didn't know which one. But they were too lowborn to marry. The Drinkwater is just like a landed knight, basically like Eustace. So like we can't marry them. I'm the Prince of Dorne. It's not going to work. But Cletus is like, who cares? Just take one as a paramour. And in Dorne,
it's kind of acceptable.
Like, yeah, who cares? Like, really, no one would care in Dorne. I don't think.
We just be making love out here.
Quentin says he can think of a few reasons why not. He doesn't say what they are. This gave me Jon Snow vibes, like when Jon's like, I don't want to make more bastards because I'm a bastard type thing. And is that a show only thing? I don't even remember at this point.
I think so.
I don't know.
He tells Sam that in the first season. So if it is Kyle,
about going to Molestown, maybe.
If it is Kyle, would see it. Yeah.
I don't remember, honestly.
I think it is a show only thing. He says he was in a room. Yeah, Jon says he was in a room with Roz, who's like the redheaded whore who's only in the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a first season thing. And Sam's like, what? Didn't know where to put it.
I don't know. I feel like something like that happened, but I could be inserting a false memory at this point.
You're right. I feel like something like that happened in the books too, but I don't remember.
Yeah, so after the Drinkwater twins, then we got young sister Gwyneth, who once she became like 12 or so, started following Quentin around a lot. And she really kind of fawned over him.
Yeah. I think the one interesting thing about basically this whole girl thing is Quentin should have made his move. And again, it's hard to tell how old she was because now she has 2 children already and Quentin is only 18, he says later. But the first Enos Ironwood, like he said that he loved her for years and never said anything. And last time he saw her, now she's married to somebody else with 2 kids. Like he was Prince of Dorne and she is like the oldest daughter of like a major house in Dorne. Like that just seems like a marriage that would work. Like if Quentin proposed it, it would work. Now, this is not very romantic, right? It's one of those things where if he proposed it, it might like kind of force her hand. Like where like the fathers would just agree and she would have no say in it. And maybe that's why he didn't, right? Because he didn't want to like kind of like there's a part where Dunk says if he couldn't have a maiden like a fancy knight would or like a princess like a knight would, he at least wanted a girl who wanted him for more than his coin, right? Maybe Quentin has a little bit of that mentality where it's like, yeah, I could propose this marriage and it would go through, but it doesn't mean he even thinks this about Dany at some point. Like she would marry me for Dorne probably, but would she ever love me? Yeah. So like, I
think there's a couple thoughts I have. Yenne's probably just too old. Like it's like that when you're like a really young kid to like an older girl, like crush, like, oh, you're a cute kid, like scruff his hair type of thing. And like it's probably not even a big enough marriage for him, right? Like,
but what I'm saying is still true about that, right? Even if Quentin knows that, he could probably still lock her into something that he wants and she doesn't want.
For sure.
Because of this, even if she is like 10 years older than him.
Yeah, we've seen a guy marry a baby.
Yeah. Going the other way is weird, I think less common, but if he wanted it and he was like, hey, this is what I want, I think the dads would make that deal because it helps kind of both families, right? So,
but does it help Dorne to stay within Dorne is my thought. Like there's no ally in that. Like if you want to like go to get a North girl down, right? Like let's get both ends of the spectrum here. Like that's what I'm saying. Is it's just
timing is super important here, right? Because why was Dorne trying to set up Arianne with people that he knew she would reject
to play defense,
so that she could save him for Viserys?
Exactly.
Save her for Viserys.
That's a great point. What you just said, Jeff, is that if at the time Viserys was already dead, well then we definitely can't have Quentin marrying anybody because we need him. Right, but I don't think at the time Viserys was dead. Viserys died like a year and a half ago. So
wait, even if he's not dead, like I mean, I still feel like Dorne probably had.
Well, no, Arianne's going to be queen. Quentin's going to be Prince of Dorne, which is what. Yeah, I guess you're right. Before, it's actually better. That makes the marriage better because before he wouldn't have been Prince of Dorne. He would have been Arianne would have been Princess of Dorne.
Yeah, so I guess he could have married kind of. He was truly the second son, or like first son, but second son.
Exactly, in Dorne wise, yeah.
Well, and Dorne might have had somebody better in mind, or already had some of this plan cooked up. Part of it, fail safe. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. So
he always thought, or he's thinking to himself, Dany will honor our agreement, right? She'll understand. Which I don't really know if she will. That's kind of a point that I didn't think. It's an agreement from like whispers, right? Like the Viserys to her, or Viserys to Arianne partnership. Like, how's Dany going to know that was an agreement?
Theoretically, there's some document, whether Quentin has that or it's like, hey, come back to Dorne with me and I'll show you. But like theoretically,
we don't have it yet, right? Yeah. Like we haven't heard of anything with a seal on it.
Quentin's not talking about his boot or anything like that. So
it's not something that Illyrio would like. It's not really an Illyrio thing. Like, I'm just trying to like.
Illyrio didn't mention Quentin at all. So
yeah, but Illyrio, not Quentin, but Illyrio was housing Dany and Viserys. So like, if there were talks of a marriage pact, like Illyrio may have been around. Maybe it was at a different point in their journey, but it seems like they spent a lot of time with Illyrio, right? Or
yeah, I mean, there was 9 years, I think, that Dany and Viserys were, but from the time they became exiles, from the time we saw them,
yeah,
I think it was like 9 years or something. Dany's how old? 13, and she was born the day they escaped. So 13 years.
Somebody had to be counseling Viserys during this time.
I guess my point is, if the pact was made closer towards the start of the book series, like closer to Dany 1 than it was Dany being born, then yes, I would agree with you.
That would be Illyrio.
It's more likely for Illyrio to know. If it happened like a month after Dany was born, when Viserys and her had both escaped and she was a baby, because Viserys is like 8 or something at that point. So like we could be setting up marriage deals with him. So if it was more immediate, then
you think
with an 8-year-old,
yeah. For sure, for political reasons and
you think he's understanding any of that?
And he kept a secret, and like he would keep it a secret from everybody from here and not be counseled by anybody. Like an 8-year-old's not being a king.
No, he was being counseled, right? Like we know there was people that helped him, right? Like William Derry, who was the Master at Arms, was the one that helped. Like Viserys didn't escape with Dany on his own. There was a few people that helped them, some loyal people. William Derry, Dany remembers him like when they had first escaped. He smelled of old leather and had rough hands, but by the time Dany's remembered him, he was basically on his deathbed. But like if he was setting up deals, like if he was the one that made this marriage pact,
that's fair.
It would have been basically him and Doran doing the like. It's not Arianne and Viserys. You're right. There's somebody in charge, but yeah.
But we haven't heard, like, Dany hasn't mentioned it yet, right? Or like,
no one has mentioned it. But theoretically, there should be some proof somewhere. I would hope. If you're right, if Quentin's like, Dany, trust me, girl.
Yeah.
Our fathers, they promised.
This is real. This like, we shook on it.
I think that's a big, very wishful thinking.
So as we keep traveling, we pass the Great Black Wall, which is the outer wall.
They don't pass. Actually, interesting. They see it across the river. So they're on the western side. On the eastern side, they see it. But yeah.
Okay. Well, they kind of still pass it.
Okay, sure. Sure. Okay. Basically, they turn from the ocean front to the riverfront. They turn right, and now they're heading up river slightly. Yeah, and there's a long bridge, and they see the big wall. And the wall is crazy, right?
It's basically the outer wall of like the actual castle, right? Or like where the Lanteans go.
I think it's interesting too. They call it the Black Wall, and the wall we know about isn't ever called the White Wall, but it's made of ice.
Yeah.
So it's bluish white. I mean, they say it looks all kinds of colors at different times, but like I don't know. I think this is kind of like is something symbolically going to happen to both walls? Exactly.
I don't think so, but it's just a big wall.
There's some symbolism with this wall for sure.
And it's too far.
There has to be something, right? Like it doesn't make any sense why it's even here, really.
This is Chekhov's wall.
To just keep the foreign people out.
It's 200 feet tall, man. This is not just some tiny little wall.
It depends on if Atlantis is going to be one of those things that we see for a chapter or two, but it's not like a King's Landing or a Winterfell where we have like a ton of or the wall. If it's like a chapter or two, I think this is probably just world building fluff. If it's more Winterfell, King's Landing-ish, then this is symbolic. But that's yet to be foretold. So
and they keep riding along, and then a big traffic jam comes because the Triarchs come out with their elephants.
There's some things about Volantis I like. Obviously, the slavery is
You love 5-1
Horrible.
slaves.
Number one. Yeah, that's number one. Yeah, that's number one on this list.
That's Nelson's perfect ratio.
Slavery is obviously horrible, but it seems like they have the best democracy. Like when we talk about these triarchs, and it's basically like, well, every landowner gets to vote, even women, right? So there's some progressiveness in that at least, and then the fact that there's 3 triarchs at a time, and they get reelected every year. They have some policies better than the United States, right? They got term limits down.
Do you think we would be better?
Way better than we do.
Dude, we couldn't go through an election every year. That'd be crazy.
We go through an election. We do go through an election every year, don't we?
They would never do anything. They would just be...
Every other year.
They would just be, what's it called? Campaigning the whole time.
No, because once you're in, there's nothing to I guess you got to start campaigning again.
Are you going to rerun?
I don't know that these guys don't seem like they want it.
These guys serve 1 year and done. They're just...
Well, so it's interesting. I was thinking that too. I think what you're thinking is more last chapter. We heard about how the Prince of Pentos works.
Oh,
Basically, they let the Prince of Pentos. He wears golden slippers, walks on golden floors, lives in golden palaces, sleeps with whoever he wants, eats whatever food he wants. But if the crops fail, they kill him.
Yeah, he's an easy kill.
I think that's the Pentos thing. I don't think that's... I was thinking that too, but I don't think there's any hint of that here yet. Not to say that that's not true, but I don't think it's clear that these people don't want it. And I think even in Pentos, some people do want it. But yeah, I don't know. I think the democracy in some of these different free cities, not democracy, the government in some of these free cities is very interesting.
The interesting part is if you can't get reelected, right? Which is probably what they mean. You serve a year and then you're done, right?
I would like that. That's what I would
Then you don't need to campaign, right? Then you could just use your year in office
and do your best.
Do whatever you need to get done.
Or I guess still you could have corruption because then you can use your year to line your pockets as much as possible for the rest of your life afterwards. So I guess that's still a possibility, but yeah, I guess I would hope not, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I look at the best of people.
The one thing I would say is that it says that the triarchs are considered so elevated that their feet are not allowed to touch the ground during their year of service. So it's one of those things that implies that they only get 1 year.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I rethinking it, I don't think they're going up for re-election. I was more, I guess, putting it toward the American side of things. Like, if you just had a 1 year president, I guess if they just took their year and said, fuck it, let's do it.
Well, I think president, we actually have term limits on presidents. Well,
yeah.
So far, we'll see. So far. Well, Congress, though, that's not true. And again, I actually don't know. I think one of them does have term limits, right? Senate or House of Representatives. One of them has term limits, but not the other one.
No.
Neither has term limits. I think that's the biggest problem is all the Congress. Is none of them have term limits. So
I mean, this is not a politics podcast. If you want, the real problem is corporations having money as a vote. Money in politics is the actual problem.
I think that's the bigger problem.
Those two go hand in hand, though, right?
If you had people that gave a shit, you would want them to be there for their entire life. Instead, you have people that are beholden to corporations.
I don't know. I see the logic in that, but I still
skilled employees. That's who you want.
I don't want to go down the politics talk too much. I see the logic in what you're saying. I still think term limits is a good idea, even if you get money as out of politics. But moving on.
I see what Kyle's saying, but it is.
I do see, but I think it's idealistic. Power corrupts. I think after any amount of time, it's like the ring in Lord of the Rings. Like Frodo could only take it for so long.
Never seen it.
You will at one point.
All right, whatever. So they pass through, right? We get a little introduction with the Triarch. But they ride through the fish market, and around the market is a show being put on, and it's some dwarves. One's riding a dog, and one's trying to hop on a pig, but falls off pretty quick.
Is this Arya? Is this the people Arya saw? Didn't she see some dwarf mummers or something in the dock? Somebody saw them.
You're so close.
Yeah, you were.
I did have a quote from a previous chapter. This is from Tyrion 8, Storm of Swords. You want to try taking a second guess now you know what chapter it is?
Is it Tyrion?
Yeah, but do you know what's going on?
Tyrion? What?
I don't remember at this point.
From where he sat, you could only see the tops of 2 striped lances as a pair of riders entered side by side. A wave of laughter followed them down the center aisle toward the king. They must be riding ponies, he concluded, until they came into full view. The jousters were a pair of dwarfs. One was mounted on an ugly gray dog, long of leg and heavy of jaw. The other rode an immense spotted sow. Painted wooden armor clattered and clacked as the little knights bounced up and down in their saddles. Their shields were bigger than they were, and they wrestled manfully with their lances as they clopped along, swaying this way and that, and eliciting gusts of mirth. One knight was all in gold with black stag painted on his shield. The other wore gray and white and bore a wolf device. Their mounts were barded likewise. So yeah, this is at Joffrey's wedding. There was 2 dwarf mummers that were painted as stag and wolf, and they did a mummer joust.
This is kind of, I mean, I feel like it's just thrown in here for us, but it's also not a good thing, right? Like, if we're worried about Varys' spies.
Good point.
We have people that have been seen in King's Landing now seen right here in front of these guys.
I thought you were saying these guys might be Varys spies. Is that what?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like Quentin doesn't know it, but we have seen these dudes in King's Landing, so they definitely have a connection over across the sea.
So I was thinking about this. Varys, we just learned again. We just learned in the last chapter is working with Illyrio to try and help Dany. Would Varys be against this?
About
like, what would Varys think about Quentin trying to marry Dany? Like, it would help Dany if Varys and Illyrio want Dany to take over.
It's bodies.
It helps. We have Dorne on side now, right? Basically, that's what that does. So, again, Quentin doesn't know that. So I think it's fine. I think it's very wise for Quentin to be suspicious. But I think it's an interesting question.
And they still think Tywin's. They still think Tywin's alive, right? Because he mentions like if word gets back to Tywin, they're gonna send over people with knives to kill her, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that like they still think Varys is in service of Tywin at this point, like
exactly.
Let alone maybe a free agent out there for Dany, but like.
And I mentioned earlier that Illyrio didn't say anything to Tyrion about Quentin, but like you said, if Illyrio was part of the pact, right? Like if that happened more recent than not, then he was. And I think one of you guys even said in that Tyrion chapter that Illyrio seems like the kind of guy like Varys is, where he knows the information, but he's not going to tell you unless he needs to tell you, and it would benefit him. So even if Illyrio knew about Quentin, would he tell Tyrion? Like why? So I don't know. It's interesting to think about. I guess the one thing that kind of hints against that is if Illyrio was on the same team,
he's friends with Varys.
Well, would Quentin know about that? And then why would Quentin be afraid of Varys? Like if Quentin knew, hey, we're all on the same team, he might not be thinking like, oh, we need to be afraid of Varys as spies.
That was kind of something else I kind of was going to get into that I put together through this one, at least, was that I know I had said like, oh, maybe Illyrio was working with Dorne or whatever last chapter or last Tyrion chapter. We kind of talked about that. This one did seem to put that to bed a little bit because the whole Varys fear thing, whereas we know that those two are in cahoots, Varys and Illyrio, so they wouldn't be afraid of him if they were, all together. Is kind of where I was at.
It's also one of those things though where you have too many like players of the Games of Thrones. Like, even if Doran was working with Illyrio and Varys, would he tell Quentin that? Like, does Quentin need to know that? Like, I don't know. Like, it's one of like Doran only tells people what they need to know. We saw that with Arianne. We saw that with Arianne. Arianne's different because Arianne's flappy gums, loose mouth. Mm-hmm. But like, we only tell Arianne the bare minimum that she needs to know because, again, she's going to tell Tyene. Tyene's going to tell her sisters. They're going to tell everyone's going to know in a minute. Yeah. So
yeah. All right. But Quentin doesn't really want to go see the mummers. He just like, unless they have a ship, like, let's go back to the merchant's house. And as they get there, there's some.
At one point they say Quentin, just real quick, Quentin is 18, Garrus is 24. So just because I think Garrus says, you're an old man, you need a laugh. And Quentin's like, you're older than me. And he thinks.
Well, I think he like. Yeah,
it's a way for George to tell us how old
you're constipated,
you are,
like you're right. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like well, he's like, yeah, you need a laugh. You're like a stuck-up old, maybe like a constipated old man or something. Yeah. And he's like, you're older than I am. He doesn't say it, but he thinks it. So I think just how we learn. Yeah.
So they get back to the merchant's house, and some men from the Windblown, are here recruiting and trying to recruit Quentin because he doesn't look like. He looks like the merchant's man, right? Now, not the merchant. So
yeah,
they're like, hey, it looks like you're not shit. Come be a hero with us. Come fight the Dragon Queen with young Kai.
Yeah, we could use people like you. You want to be a hero? You want to have songs sung about you? Come with us.
And he doesn't, and they come pussy.
I like how he's like, yeah, I don't speak your language. This way.
Been around the world, don't speak the language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that Pitbull? No. Pitbull does speak the language.
It's Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo. I don't know if it is. Okay, moving on.
I'm pretty sure it is.
But the guy answers. He knows Common Tongue.
That's kind of shady too, right? Like that this guy knows a little Westerosi.
Well, if you're a sellsword company and you're sending out a few sellswords to stand behind and recruit, you're going to send the people who know the most languages, especially when you're going sending them to the merchant's house where he just said this is where everyone from everywhere comes.
It's fair.
So, yeah,
that's smart. Good job. Good recruiters. You want to be able to communicate.
Exactly.
They're like, whatever. And they also say, like, come fight for the tattered prince. I think that gets mentioned in passing.
Well, this one recruiting tactic blew my mind. He's like, Quentin says, I can't. I got to help my master sell wine. And the guy says, your master? Are you a slave? Fuck that. Come fight with us.
Yeah. Which doesn't
What are they going to fight? Well, what are they going to fight for?
For slavery.
Yeah, they're fighting against Danny to help bring back slavery. Like, oh, you're a slave? You want to be on our side? Like, no, I don't. Like, you're fighting against my oppression. Like,
it's not even like the slave has the freedom to like sign himself out of slavery.
Yeah.
He's like, nope, gonna go fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, oh, if I get my name down, my master's like, oh, that's the deal. I'm not a slave anymore. Like, no, that's not how that works.
Well, I think you would just peace out at that point, right? You just disappear.
Garrus is right there. Like that's Quentin's like, I'm help my master sell wine. He's like, fuck your master. Just not sign up. It's like, what? Like, I don't think that's how that works. But yeah, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, they convince people to fight for incorrect things all the time. So
yeah, that's true.
That's true. That's not that out there.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, come fuck that. Come join us. They say, we're the Windblown. Like Jeff said, you can fight alongside the tattered prince. Must be some hero that they got. You can have all the men, gold, women, whatever you want, as long as you're bold enough to take it. We're the Windblown. We fucked the goddess Slaughter up her ass. And then two sellswords started bellowing out the words to some marching song. Quentin understood enough to get the gist. We are the Windblown, they sang. Blow us east to Slaver's Bay. We'll kill the Butcher King and fuck the Dragon Queen. And Garrus is like, fuck, I wish if our boys didn't die, we'd come back here.
We'd
fuck these guys up, like for saying that about your future wife. On. Yeah.
But nope, they don't. They go inside and they see the big man, who we now know is Archibald Ironwood.
Arch. Yeah.
He's been guarding the room because you can't trust anybody here.
I like him already. And I think it's probably just because he's the big man. I have a fondness for big guys.
Yeah, we know.
He kind of sounds like your other boy.
Belwas.
Belwas.
Oh, because he's bald?
This is Belwas Iron.
Yeah.
I mean, just big, fat. Like, I guess he could fight a little bit, right? Like, you would hope.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6.5 feet tall, broad.
Big dog.
Big belly, no
he's
neck.
A big dog.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, like, what are we doing? Like, what are our options now? So they kind of lay it out like, hey, yeah, we're going to go on the adventure, but probably not going to be good.
He's like, is the smuggler going to take us? He's like, yeah, he'll take us, but to the nearest hell. I thought that was a good way of how Quentin explained it. But then Quentin's like, yeah, but we're going to do it. It's our best bet. So we're doing that. Like, what? Yeah, I said this earlier, but like, what? How is this still an option?
Yeah. I just hope you can just continue to buy them, maybe. Who knows? But Arch is like, no, let's take the demon road. It's way better for us all, which is not. He just better for his sea tummy.
Yeah, I think the other thing that maybe makes me like Arch is I think he says, what are they going to do on the demon road? Who's going to fight Garrus with his sword and me with my hammer?
Yeah, you're just a hammer guy.
You gotta love someone who's using a hammer. Yeah. And Quentin's like, no, I think Venture's going to be what we got to do. Like, and Garrus is like, what? How could you? You're going to stand that smell? It's like, I'll be asking for him to kill me after 3 days just because it smells so bad, even if he isn't going to kill us.
That would be rough.
And he's like, well, do you got a better idea? And he says, I do. It's just now come to me. It has its risk, and it's not what you would call honorable, I grant you. But it will get you to your queen quicker than that demon road. Tell me, said Quentin Martell.
Oh, Kyle, prediction now. Boom! What do you got?
Thank you, Garrus, for setting us up with a prediction question.
He's going to be in the Mummer show as the next dog that the dwarfs read. No, I think they're going to sign up for the army outside. That's what I think is going to happen, right? Like
they're joining the Windblown?
Where wind blows?
Yeah, like, I mean, like, how do you not just say, hell yeah, take us there? And then you desert once you get there.
It's the way.
That wouldn't be very honorable.
That's what he says. Not honorable. It's going to get us there quick as shit.
When's Quentin going to be up for that? Quentin seems like a pretty up and up guy.
I mean, it feels like that's the answer here.
I like the prediction.
I don't know what else. You could try and talk me out of it. I felt like this was kind of in your face.
I like the prediction.
Yeah. Hopefully it's right after this point. Me saying it's very obvious that's what's going to happen. But, I mean, they just ran into these guys right outside.
For a reason.
They're going the same place, right?
You know what they do? They build a hang glider. They climb up the black wall, and they jump off that because it's so big. And then
there's a zip line.
They just hang glide
up there
off it.
That's not a bad idea either.
Fan man. Yeah, they strap a big
or
fan
just
to them.
Hang glide as far as you can and then foot it from there.
Yeah.
It's like 2 miles.
Yeah.
Not that much closer.
I do want him to hang out in Volantis though, because I like Volantis. But I guess we got Tyrion coming here, so we'll see that at some point, hopefully.
Yep.
But,
All right.
Anything else, Kyle? I don't have any more pointed questions.
No, I mean, I think that was really about it. It was a good kind of introduction to Quentin. Still was kind of meh, but
I guess long game is Quentin marrying Dany. I like now that we're getting to the point where like I can ask Kyle stuff that like I don't even know the answer to because
you spoiled it there.
A spoiler.
I didn't say this was one of those, but we're getting to the point where I can just mix those in and I just get to get your predictions.
Just say that enough. I don't know, man. I mean, there's so many like suitors coming for her right now. So that's kind of the part of the question. Who gets there first? So, I mean, I think Quentin has a shot. We kind of went through the like how long that shot was earlier though, where it's like this weird tentative deal with everybody else that wasn't involving her or Quentin for a while.
Well, I guess I'll talk about this. Quentin is not a good looking dude.
She didn't seem super concerned about that when she was talking about husbands.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It seems at the moment Dany's willing to marry a Myronese for political reasons,
stability or whatever.
Right? So, maybe. I guess that was it. Like, do you think even if we got a Dany chapter where Quentin shows up and she's like, this fucking dude is disgusting, like holy fuck. But you know what? You think? I guess if Dany's absolutely repulsed by this guy, is it the political? Do you think that would be a deal for her?
I think the weird thing about Quentin is that he doesn't offer much currently, right? Like he's offering a promise of Dorne. He doesn't have boats. He doesn't have an army with him.
He's got 3 dudes.
Like it's him and 2 dudes currently, right? Like that's not really speaking well to your power, right? Like that's.
I will say along those lines, fandom doesn't like Doran for this setup. He's like, what? People in the fandom think Doran really didn't give Quentin enough resources for how big of an undertaking this is. But me, again, I think if you're of the Doran mindset of, hey, 6 people in Ariane's plot was too many, someone told, how can you really decide I'm going to send Quentin with 50 people? Like, how's that a better idea?
Skimmed over where Doran, I think it was Doran, warned Quentin in a flashback or something like, what we're doing is treasonous. Like this,
exactly.
This is not on the up and up. So like to send, a large group, unless he does show up with the Golden Company. I forgot that we kind of talked about that, but we thought Illyrio did something with that last time,
Illyrio
right?
basically told Tyrion last chapter that like, hey, I got the Golden Company. They're for us. Yeah. Ariane always thought they were for Quentin up until that last chapter. So I guess it's not set in stone, but if we're trusting Illyrio, it's not. And Quentin didn't say anything.
I didn't trust him a ton.
And Quentin didn't think anything in this chapter of like, oh, we just got to wait and the Golden Company will show up and help us out. Like that didn't cross his mind. So
yeah, for sure. No, they were never part of the spoken plan in this. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem like you and I both just said, he doesn't seem well equipped to handle this task.
Yeah.
So I have low hopes for that currently. I could see it happening. I'm not going to say it's definite no. Like she doesn't seem to be the one that's just like going to write him off immediately, and she will hear him out. Yeah. And she may find some reason to uphold her past deals, but again, that wasn't even her deal.
Yeah.
So exactly. Like, I don't know. It's
the other thing is that this wasn't even ever the promise. The promise was Ariane Viserys, right? That was the deal. Yeah. We're trying to be like, hey.
Yeah. Here we got the second thing that
Even if you buy that deal, will you kind of trust? Like, will you agree to like Dany basically still has a way to say no, that's invalid. He's dead. Like that's a totally fine response here, right? It's kind of almost like in the medieval terms like honorable too, right? There's no dishonor in like rejecting that or like, oh, you turned back on this. Like, no, that promise was null and void when Viserys died. Like, you're lucky I'm even considering this alternative because it's close enough. So, yeah, I think Dany has I wouldn't even call it a loophole, an easy way out of this, right? Like this contract, if that's what you call it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's wrap her up. Kyle, see you next time.
Next for Quentin, we'll see him on the way to Yunkai with the Windblown.
That's what I say, yeah.
What's our next chapter?
All right.
Jon is next.
Ooh, cool. We'll see Kyle in the next one for Jon 2.
Bye, Kyle.
Bye-bye.
Later, nerds.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Bye, Kyle.
Bye, Kyle.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
See you on the next one. For John 2. I actually didn't look, so I'm trusting Kyle on that one.
Yep.
Spoiler section. Jeff, what do you got?
Hot takes. I got a couple of notes. The first one I had was all the sweet.
I knew you were going to like that. There's the big part where
the whole paragraph is like everything's sweet.
we even talked to Kyle about it, and I said it was ironical. The captain of the adventurer's suite in Volantis, they eat sweet beets with every meal. It's enough to rot your teeth. Even the wine was too sweet. So yeah, everything sweet. I think we got a very similar of Karth.
Yeah, everything.
And I think Danny's like, everything here is sweet. And I think that's where Jorah straight up tells her sweet is often used to cover sour or foul or something like that. So yeah, and you can kind of get that again. It's Volantis, I think, gives that vibe, right? We're kind of like I was saying, like some of the government stuff I kind of like, but they have 5 slaves for every person. So clearly they're not doing everything right. So yeah, I think you definitely get that vibe with Volantis. I don't know. I really like Volantis. Again, not as like I would want to live there because there's a ton of slaves. I think it's one of the most interesting, like, yeah, I should look at this. I think Westeros Craft, that Minecraft thing.
Yeah. They
has pretty much said we're doing Westeros first, but then we'll hit some of the big free cities. I think Volantis would be one of those awesome Westeros crafts. The Long Bridge. I didn't want to say it to Kyle because Tyrion goes on it and he talks about how awesome it is. Tyrion a few times talks about Lomas Lomstrider, who was this guy who wrote books about some of the wonders of the world. Forget what there are. I think there's like 7 wonders made by man and 9 natural. We have this in the real world, right? There's like natural wonders and then wonders made by man.
Yep.
George basically made the same thing in Westeros. I think some of the ones made by man are like the wall.
Right.
I think another one is the Long Bridge. So like this bridge is fucking crazy for medieval times. I think the Rhoyne is like 6 miles wide.
And it's a man-made bridge just crossing the Rhoyne.
Yeah, but like again, I don't know if it's 6 miles at the base, but like think about a 6-mile bridge in medieval times. That's just fucking crazy tall.
No, it's huge. It's great engineering.
Yeah.
Great job.
So I don't know, kind of cool. Also in this chapter, Quentin says he can see the Black Wall. He's on the western shore. He can see the Black Wall. He doesn't mention he can see the eastern shore.
So
I think there's a part where Tyrion, when he's on his way down the Rhoyne, where the river is wide enough that he can't see either shore.
How far out can you see? At sea level, the curvature of the Earth limits the range of vision to 2.9 miles.
On a ship in the open ocean, the distance to the horizon depends primarily on the observer's height above the water, but for an average observer, on a ship's deck, the horizon is typically 13 to 12 miles. Okay, 3 to 12 miles. 12 would be like if a person is standing.
3 is at sea level. 12
would be on a pretty high deck, right? I will say it does change. It does change depending on how far north or south you are, because the Earth isn't a sphere; it's a egg. But
oval. Yeah,
it's actually fatter on the bottom than it is on the top as well. But it doesn't really matter.
Nah, I don't know about that. I'll have to fact check you there. I'll fact check you there later too.
Yeah,
but I think I don't think it's completely irrelevant, because if Tyrion was in the middle of this bridge, and you're saying it's 6 miles long, that's like him barely. At some point, he won't be able to see the other coast, and like for like maybe 100 yards, you can't see either coast at all, right? Like,
yeah. And I'm not sure if I don't know if on the Long Bridge is when it's that big distance. I know at one point Tyrion says, I don't know how many miles. Fuck. Now, because now I'm throwing numbers out, and I feel like I'm just pulling out of my ass, and they're not coming from anywhere. Take everything I'm saying right now with a grain of salt. I'm pretty sure. That's
why I have Google up.
I'm pretty sure
next to me at all times.
You made me very wonder about everything I'm saying. I'm pretty sure Tyrion at one point is on the Rhoyne. We'll see in a few chapters where he can't see either side, but whatever.
We can move off that point. The point is, it's a sweet spot, not being like a cool spot to be. It's sweet.
You know what? I think I saw that the Rhoyne is at least 6 miles at the widest, and now that you're saying 3 miles is what you can see from the horizon, that's where that comes from. I bet you there's a Tyrion chapter where he says he can't see either side, so someone said it has to be at least 6 miles. If you're in the middle, it's 6 miles. So it's probably even bigger than that. But yeah, and that's probably not at the Long Bridge, clearing all that up. But still, Long Bridge is long as fuck.
Yeah, whatever. It's still pretty cool.
I don't even remember how we got on that. We're talking about sweet stuff. But
I was saying that it was sweet. Yeah, I don't know. You just said it was a cool spot to be. You'd want to be there, or at least fly around
Westeros Craft.
Craft.
Again, the thing I said to Kyle, I think that this chapter is very themey, that like adventure isn't all it's cracked up to be. And I think, again, the very first lines of Quentin, you know what happens to Quentin at the end.
Yeah.
What happens?
We'll get burned.
But it's burned. And his first lines are adventure stank.
His adventure's not going to end. I mean, he should die
And at one point, he thinks about his friend, and he's like, "That's not how it was supposed to end for them."
Yeah.
Later, they had toasted and they made ribald jokes about him and wedding his bride and all the great things that were gonna come. Again, I think it's just like no, bro. Like this isn't life. Isn't a story.
It's not a happy ending for everybody.
Yeah.
My thing is like he gets burned by a dragon, right? We know how hot dragon fire is. He should be dead.
Yeah, correct. There are theories that he's not.
I know.
Burned bones mean nothing, right? Some people think basically it was a different body that's burned. I at one point was on that again. So I think Preston Jacobs is the one that I've seen that has the best theory that I have ever seen for the Quentin still alive. I think I was on the camp of that theory at one point. Again, it's been a while since I saw any of these videos, but just this chapter, like the amount of like symbolism that like this is not going to go well for you in this chapter makes me think that whatever evidence Preston has for Quentin might still be alive. I don't know. Quentin's good. This chapter tells me he's dying.
Hopefully it's cooked.
Yeah, literally. So I don't know. I think that's probably where it's going to end. I do still wonder if Quentin dies, what was the point? Like, I don't know why we needed him. Like, we didn't need him as a POV at least. Like, I'm fine if he shows up in a Danny chapter, but like, why not that, again, I like the chapter for the theme of it, but like, you could take it out of the book and we still
here's another, this is completely a joke, but more proof that he's dead. They were going to leave an hour before first light. So Quentin's gone before dawn even happens.
There you go. Yeah, before dawn.
Before it even matters, Quentin's out of here.
Then we get into some of this other stuff, right? So in the next Danny chapter, Quaith's going to show up in like a Danny dream.
I hate that. I don't like that.
And she's going to say, "The glass candles are burning. Soon comes the pale mare, and after her the others. Kraken and dark flame, lion and griffin, the sun's son and the mummer's dragon. Trust none of them. Remember the undying. Beware the perfumed seneschal." So in here, right, let's just go through, see if you know it. Soon comes the pale mare. This is actually, I don't even know this one. You could say a few things. They call the sickness that comes to Marine the pale mare. I think there are a few people that show up on white horses. I think Barristan eventually rides out of Marine after Danny leaves into the battle on Danny's silver, which is a pale mare. So I think there's a few things people think about the pale mare. But the next one is after her, the others. The Kraken.
Yeah. All right. So Victarion.
Well, the Kraken and the Dark Flame. Those kind of actually go together. Victarion on his way comes across Makoro, who's a black guy, but he's a red priest. He's a red priest. He's like a Melisandre red priest, but he's
I recall.
He's a badass. So I think that's the Dark Flame. Kraken and Dark Flame. So Victarion and Makoro. Yep. Lion and Griffin.
Griffin and Phagon.
Griffin is John Con. Lion would be Tyrion.
Say Griffin and Son.
Lion and Griffin.
Okay.
So this is just Tyrion and Griff.
John Con.
Then we get the sun's son and the mummer's dragon.
Martell is the sun's.
The sun's son.
There's sun spear, so yeah.
Exactly. Their sigil is the sun and spear. Yeah. House is exactly. So the sun's son.
Quentin. And who's next?
The mummer's dragon.
Phagon,
exactly. So the sun's son people think is Quentin. I think it's cool. Basically, in the next Danny chapter, we get glass candles are burning. Soon comes the pale mare. After her, the others, Kraken and Dark Flame, Lion and Griffin, the sun's son, and the mummer's dragon. I think this is going to be super interesting to ask Kyle. I'm not sure if we get any more Tyrion chapters before the next Danny one. But say we don't. Say all Kyle has going into this quote is what we know now. I think Kraken, he'll be able to guess Victarion.
Yeah, no, I think he already like mentioned him in this chapter. Or you did, maybe.
Dark Flame, he's not going to know because we haven't met before.
He's not going to know.
Lion and Griffin.
He should. I mean, he'll at least know it's Griff. He won't know that it's John Con, but like he's going to think of Griff and Tyrion being brought by Griff.
Okay, you think he'll pull Griff? You think he'll pull? Okay, that's a good thought. I didn't think about that.
But it's not like he knows Griff is somebody else, right? He just knows that it's Griff, and he's bringing Tyrion, who's the lion. Yeah. So I think he'd be able to pull that.
I was thinking because Kyle won't know that Griff is John Con and that John Con's sigil is a griffin. He won't know that's a griffin. But I see what you're saying. Griff is
again.
Close.
If we weren't calling him Griff, it would. If we were calling him Brad, and you had no idea what his sigil was.
And then the sun's son and the mummer's dragon.
The sun's
I think Kyle has what he needs for the sun's son. I just think it's a tough one.
But I think he knows that this. Yeah, again, he's got to know that that's their sigil, right?
If I wasn't asking you about the sun's son in the spoiler section of a Quentin chapter, I don't even know if you would pull out Quentin. If we were just in a Danny's
come on.
chapter,
I know their sigil. It's my sigil on our goddamn
that's true.
title card.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. But again, I think the sun is one of those things that's obvious once you know it. But I think it's probably like on a first read, you're like, what the fuck does that mean, right?
If you're listening to it, like the son, so the grandson. But like if you're seeing SUN son, it's different.
It's SUNSUSON. It's son. Yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That helps. And then Mummer's Dragon, I don't think he should know enough to get that. But again, it's a great Quaithe line because George knows what he's doing. You know about enough to get like literally half of everything. You know Kraken, not Darkflame. You know Lion, not Griffin. You know enough to get Sun, but not Mummer's Dragon.
But even like Mummer's Dragon too, like you can play like Phagon just being a complete fraud, or are we playing into the Blackfire thing, right? Where like they're kind of fake dragons as it is, right? Like
I think this line is one of the biggest hints that Phagon supporters go for is he's not a real dragon, he's a fake dragon. Yeah. But I think that could also he's not even a Blackfire.
No, I think he could be a complete fraud. But like
think about Illyrio just had a kid, non-Blackfire kid, and was like, you know what, Varys? What if we said you took Rhaegar's son? Like who would know? Who would know?
Because he had a white-haired, like, let's just say Sarah was just a white-haired girl, right?
Well, she was from a pillow house in Lyce. And the thing about Lyce is, Lycene people are pretty much fair-skinned, fair-haired, and normally have blue eyes.
Yeah.
Fucking close enough. Right? It'll pass.
Pretty close.
We can pass them off. Exactly. So
might look purple in the right light.
I think Aegon does have purple eyes, right? To be fair. Phagon. I think he does have purple eyes. So I'm not saying he is blue eyes, but again, it's close. You get a little tweak there.
Yep.
So, yep.
That's interesting. The Demon Road. Anything on the Demon Road? We don't take it. Does
no
anybody
one ends
take
up taking it? I think somebody will take it at some point, just because we hear a lot about it. I hope somebody takes it, just because we don't know enough. So,
all right.
But yeah,
I didn't think anybody took it. How much does a whore's love cost? Just
Tyrion thoughts. For where do whores go?
Are these girls whores, right? Are they
slaves?
Are they slaves? Are they spies, right? Like, was Shay a spy? More so, like, I don't know. It just opens up all those questions.
Yeah.
Like, they're still kind of whores because they're getting paid to have sex with Tyrion and shit like that. But
yeah,
was Tysha not a whore? Was she actually a whore? Like,
I don't remember where it is. It's not in Volantis.
I said it literally in the last chapter. I said that I don't think she was, because she was nervous and like untrained in kissing him, right?
Yeah, their tongues trembled or whatever when they touched or whatever, something like that. Yeah. Yep. Next point I had, it's a quote. Tywin will send his own men after the queen once word of her reaches King's Landing. His father had been certain of that. He will come with knives if they reach her first. Then Gareth says, let's hope her dragons will sniff them out and eat them. That just made me think that's what happens to Quentyn.
Quentyn gets sniffed out and burned and eaten.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. That was all I got. I guess real quick we can talk about what's the rest of Quentyn. Do you remember? You actually spoiled something accidentally. I don't even think you know you spoiled it.
No, I didn't.
Quentyn later takes on the nickname Frog.
Well, he just looks like a toad. It's just his name. I didn't spoil that. That's not a spoil. That's me literally like reading his description and calling him a toad.
Well, no, because I think. Yeah, again, I think it was a subconscious spoil, but I think it was close enough that it's just a good pull. Like Kyle could have said that.
You think I remembered his nickname was Toad?
Well, so Quentyn's story is hilarious. So they join with the Windblown. They go over. They plan on defecting from the Windblown. Right? So they're going to be turned cloaks from the Windblown. But then the Tattered Prince, who's the leader of the Windblown, says, hey, I don't want to be on the losing side of this fight, and I think Marine might win. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send a few people and tell Dany that I'm actually taking her side. I'm not going to completely take her side, but I'm going to half take her side. And he picks Quentyn and his crew to be this group. So Quentyn, who was planning on defecting, basically gets told like, "Hey, go pretend to pretend to defect," or exactly like. So he basically gets to go and do it without having to really be dishonorable, because he's still doing what the Tattered Prince said. But
yeah.
And then basically, and now at this point, I think with the Windblown is when he starts going as Toad, and he's the squire to Arch, I think is what their new like cover story is.
Yeah.
And when they show up and they reveal who they are to Dany, at this point, Dany and Dario are fucking. So Dario is not happy about anybody marrying Dany. Yeah. And he also just brought on these sellswords and they said, hey, we're going to help join you or whatever. And now they're like, hey, we totally lied to Dario. Here's why we're actually here. So that kind of pisses Dario off too. And when he's like, hey, I'm Toad, but really I'm the prince, Dario even said, like, I think Dario says, like, oh, I see why you call him Toad. It's from the stories. He's the Toad who's supposed to kiss the princess. And
Yeah.
I think Dario calls that out. And you said that in the chapter too. So again, I'm not saying to spoil. I don't think Kyle, what's that going to spoil for Kyle? I think
it'll spoil him in a year.
it was a foreshadow.
Foreshadow.
It was a great foreshadow by Jeff. Yeah. I had no problem with it. I thought it was good.
It's exactly what I was thinking.
But yeah, that's it. That's kind of what happens to him. So then Danny's like, sorry, I'm marrying his daughter tomorrow.
Yeah.
George has said, like, Danny meeting Quentin and just Danny meeting all these characters and in what order it's going to happen. He calls it the Myronese knot, and it's why dance took so long. I think part of it, it's not solved. Like, Tyrion's not there. Like, Tyrion hasn't met Danny. Like, part of this still isn't solved, which I think is
Tyrion not even meeting Danny yet.
Is part of why Winds is still taking so long, because he's like, the Myronese knot is why dance took so long. Turns out he just moved the Myronese knot later in the story, so he just never had to solve it. But he said that, I think George has said, and again, take this with a grain of salt, I think it's close, but I know this might be a little exaggerated. I think George said he wrote 3 different, I forget if it's a Danny or a Quentin chapter, but he wrote 3 different versions of the chapter. One where Quentin shows up the day before Danny gets married to Hisdar. One where he arrives in Marine the day Danny's getting married to Hisdar. And one where he arrives the day after Danny arrives to Hisdar. George says he just completely wrote all 3 chapters and then was like, which one do I like best?
Yeah.
That's why these books take so long. Is because when he writes one chapter, he doesn't just write one chapter. He writes it 3 different ways or 10 different ways. It was like, which one do I like best? And I think sometimes what he does is he'll write those 3 versions and he'll be like, I don't know which one I like best. Let me write one more chapter down each one of these trees. You know what I mean? And then after like 3 or 4 chapters, I'm like, okay, this branch is best. And again, I think that type of thing is what leads to such great books. But again, it's also why I think Winds has taken so long. But
yeah, it's not getting any simpler.
Exactly. That's what I said. He didn't solve the Myronese knot. He just pushed it into Winds. That's why Winds is still not out. So,
no, I don't have anything else. Tyrion's gonna meet the mummers, right? That's how Tyrion's story ends up.
So it's Penny and Oppo.
Yeah.
Penny joins Tyrion. Oppo doesn't. Why not?
I don't know. Oppo was banging Penny.
Oppo got his head cut off and taken to Cersei. So that's what happens to Oppo. When Tyrion shows up in Volantis, Penny is like, "Holy fuck!
You can ride the horse." Oh no, you were
she's like,
at
"Holy
the wedding.
fuck! You're why my brother died."
Yeah.
And she tries to kill Tyrion.
I should chop your head off.
Yeah, she tries to kill Tyrion. I forget who. Maybe Jorah saves him. And basically, at that point, she joins up with him, and she realizes that it's not my fault.
Just walk me through it because I don't want to get show mixed up. Jorah captured Tyrion.
They stop off in a city, I think, before Volantis, on their way down the Rhoyne.
Yeah.
Tyrion and Holden Halfmaester go out into the city. Tyrion convinces Holden to let him go to a whorehouse on the way back.
Jorah steals him.
Holden's like, deal. You can go to the whorehouse, come back to the ship quick, or Griff's going to be pissed at me.
Yeah.
Tyrion never shows back up. Griff does get pissed at Holden.
Yeah.
Holden. I think it's Holden Halfmaester. And exactly. Jorah was with this like Daenerys whore, basically in the brothel, and Tyrion walks in and he's like, "You're coming with me." Yep. And that's how those two get together.
So they end up on a ship that gets taken by pirates, and then they get sold into slavery.
Yes, I forget how it happens. They end up on a ship with Makoro. Tyrion meets Makoro before Victarion does. The Red Priest.
Right.
And I think you're right. They're on a ship that I think either gets attacked by pirates or just gets destroyed in a storm. And then Tyrion and Jorah get picked up by pirates, and Makoro gets picked up by Victarion. I think that might be what happens.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then, exactly, Tyrion and Jorah slavery.
And Griff and young Griff and Fagon just go.
They meet up with the Golden Company and go to Westeros. Because Tyrion planted this seed in
Oh, right.
Their plan was wait in Volantis for Dany. Tyrion's basically like, oh, so you're going to...
And it's like, hey, go win the throne.
Tyrion's like, you're going to stay there and be like, oh, Auntie, please help me with your dragons. I can help you. He's like, if you go to Westeros and you've started this battle and you're like, hey, come join me. I already have half the kingdom. That looks way better than you just sitting here waiting for her and her dragons, which I don't know. It's not necessarily true, but it's what
I don't. She'd be like, what? You're trying to take my throne is what that is reading.
Yeah. And I don't think Tyrion even thinks it's necessarily true, but he's definitely trying to convince young Griff of it.
Yeah.
So,
all right, I'm good.
cool. That's all I got.
Wrap her up.
See you guys in the next one for John 2. Bye bye.